You're 23, sitting in a Walmart parking lot at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, staring at an email. Student loan payment due $730. Checking account balance $867. Your credit card is already at $4,200 because of car repairs and medical bills. You have a $95,000 degree. You have the job that required it, and you're still doing mental math to figure out if you can afford groceries. This isn't what college was supposed to look like. Somewhere between the guidance counselor's office at 17 and this parking lot at 23, something went wrong. My name is Susan, and the person in that car is Olivia. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Olivia didn't fail. The system worked exactly as designed. 6 years earlier, she was sitting in a high school office looking at glossy brochures filled with smiling graduates. She was told college was an investment. That debt was normal, that everyone takes loans, that it would all pay off. And she believed it because everyone did. Her parents believed it. Her teachers believed it. Questioning it would mean questioning the entire path they took themselves. So she signed the papers. And now she's in a parking lot wondering how doing everything right still feels this wrong. Society told her the same thing her entire childhood. College is the only path, so she signed the loans, chose a practical major, graduated, and ended up back in that parking lot. Here's the reality. 4 years at a public university now averages over $110,000 in-state. Out-of-state, around $185,000. Private schools push $230,000. Some elite universities are nearing $400,000. That's house money for a degree. The average borrower leaves with about $30,000 in debt. Millions owe over $100,000. Total U.S. student debt, $1.75 trillion. Now zoom back in on Olivia. She graduated with $95,000 in loans and landed a good job paying $52,000 a year. After taxes, she takes home about $3,400 a month. Her student loan payment, $730. Rent, $1,100. Car and transportation, $450. Basic living expenses, about $650. What's left? Roughly $470 a month. That's for savings, emergencies, medical bills, social life, anything unexpected. So when her car needed tires, it went on a credit card. When she hit her insurance deductible, credit card. She skipped dental cleanings. She declined a friend's wedding invitation, not because of work, but because she couldn't afford the flight. She's 23. She did everything she was told to do, and she's barely staying afloat. Olivia did everything right. Degree, job, career, and she's drowning while everyone pretends this is normal. Fast forward. At 28, her friends who became electricians or learned to code are buying houses. She's still renting. At 31, they're starting families. She's calculating loan payments. At 43, she finally pays off debt. 21 years to pay for 4 years of school. That's not an investment, that's an anchor. Now look at the math. College costs have exploded, up over 150% in real terms since 1980. Wages haven't kept up. What used to be affordable with a summer job now requires massive borrowing. Yes, graduates earn more on average, but averages hide reality. Engineering and computer science grads do well. Many other majors start at $45,000 to $55,000. Olivia borrowed nearly 6 figures to make $52,000. And here's the statistic no brochure highlights. Around 28% of bachelor's programs deliver negative return on investment. 1 in 3 degrees leaves students financially worse off than if they had started working at 18. On top of that, over half of graduates are underemployed after finishing school, working jobs that don't require their degree. Many never escape that, and the real cost isn't just tuition, it's lost earnings. If Olivia had worked from 18 to 22, earning $30,000 a year, that's $120,000. Add the $95,000 she borrowed, and the real cost of her degree was over $200,000. Invested instead, that could have grown into over $1 million by midlife. Instead, she's sending $730 a month to service debt, a quarter of her take-home pay. The wage premium disappears into loan payments. So why did this happen? Because the system expanded costs without expanding value. Administrative staff ballooned, campuses added luxury amenities, and federal student loans made unlimited borrowing possible. When money became easier to borrow, prices went up, and students paid the difference. Here's how the system sustains itself. Universities massively expanded administration and luxury amenities, and students fund it with debt. Lazy rivers, multi-million-dollar recreation centers, billion-dollar campus expansions. Who pays for that? Students. Then there's federal student loans, the real engine. The government guarantees borrowing, so universities face almost no pressure to control costs. When students can borrow more, tuition rises. Schools capture the money. Students keep the risk. University endowments total hundreds of billions. Individual schools hold tens of billions. Yet tuition keeps climbing because the system allows it. So what were Olivia's alternatives? Trade schools often cost under $20,000 total. Electricians, elevator mechanics, skilled trades, many earn $60,000 to 6 figures, often starting earlier and without debt. Apprenticeships? You get paid to learn. Solid salaries, no loans, coding boot camps and technical certifications, a fraction of the cost of college with direct job pathways. Not perfect, not guaranteed, but often far cheaper and faster. The market increasingly rewards skills, not just degrees. In fact, many large employers in over 25 states have removed degree requirements from thousands of jobs, which raises the real question. If degrees were always the only path to success, why is the system quietly backing away from requiring them? Degree requirements in job postings are already dropping. The credential is losing value, while the price keeps rising. But here's the catch. Hiring hasn't meaningfully changed. Most companies still recruit the same way. The announcements look progressive. The outcomes barely move. So what does this mean for you? Stop treating college as the default. It's not a moral decision. It's a financial one. Before signing for six figures in debt, ask, what exactly am I studying? At what school? At what total cost? What do graduates actually earn? How many work in their field? What will my monthly payment be? And can I afford it on that salary? And most importantly, what else could I do with this time and money? For some paths, like engineering at an affordable state school, the math can work. For others, like borrowing $300,000 for a low-paying field, it often doesn't. The system continues because incentives are misaligned. Universities get paid up front, the government guarantees the loans, employers use degrees as filters, students absorb the risk, and many stay the course even when the numbers don't make sense, because admitting a mistake feels harder than continuing one. College isn't a scam for everyone, but for millions, it's an extremely expensive gamble that doesn't pay off. 20 years from now, when Olivia makes her final payment at 42, the university won't call to check in. They already got paid. She did everything she was told to do, got the degree, got the job, made the payments, and she's still drowning. The system didn't fail. It worked exactly as intended.